Well, farmers are lashing out at the Bureau of Meteorology after its dry summer predictions turned out to be an absolute washout. Landowners, particularly in South Australia, say horrifically inaccurate rainfall predictions risk crippling their business. Well, for more on this, I'm joined by the Managing Director of the South Australian Cattle Company, Tim Burvill. Tim, what sort of impact has this had on your company? I mean, we were told that it was going to be this hot, dry summer. I'm in Adelaide at the moment. I'm in South Australia. I'm living up in Sydney these days. So I come down to Adelaide and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to get a proper Adelaide summer. It's going to be hot and it's going to be dry. Well, it's been just as muggy and just as humid and just as wet as if I'd stayed in Sydney, which is not what they told us would happen. But people like you have to make decisions about crops, etc., on the basis of these forecasts.
Well, clearly, Caleb, the bomb has been drinking the climate change Kool-Aid from Chris Bowen's office with their forecasts of late. They've just been completely inaccurate, well off the mark, and they've lost all credibility in the farming industry in relation to their forecasts.
I mean, you've got farmers now forking out their own money for private forecasters because they can't trust the bomb. I mean, what an absurd situation to be in. We have a taxpayer-funded Bureau of Meteorology. Surely we should be able to trust that they can come up with the right answer.
Isn't it? It's incredible. I'm led to understand that the bomb costs taxpayers $850 million a year, yet we can't trust what they're putting out. So people like myself and thousands of other farmers are having to pay for their own private forecasting service. Essentially, at the moment, the bomb couldn't forecast a sunrise, Caleb. And yeah, if this is a drought, it's got to be one of the wettest droughts I've ever seen.
Well, we wouldn't put them in charge of the TV guide either, because people would probably be turning on the telly at 8 o'clock tonight expecting to watch me, but they won't get me. So the decisions that you made and other farmers made on the basis of the predictions the bomb made, what sort of effect has that had on your bottom line?
Look, 2023 was a disastrous year for anyone in agriculture, particularly livestock. The bomb continually told farmers that would have a hot and dry year in 2023, and it completely collapsed the confidence in the industry. We saw livestock prices from the start of the year in January 23 to mid-November drop by as much as 70%. Now, if to put that into dollar figures, let's say it's $1,000 per steer or heifer that you're selling, and you're selling 1,000 animals a year, that's $1 million straight off your bottom line. It's unbelievable what happened. And then in November, lo and behold, it started raining and it hasn't stopped. So basically, it was a made-up crash.
But what are you meant to do about that? I mean, Sorry, you were just breaking up there, but what are you meant to do about that? I mean, you make a decision on the basis of the information that the Bureau of Meteorology gives to you, and you take it at face value, as I think most people have from the bomb for a very long time. It turns out to be wrong. Well, you're up the creek.
Exactly right. And look at them. It's got to the point where we just laugh at the bomb's forecasts, throw them in the bin. And I will say this. What's happened recently, the only positive, farmers have been on this for a long time, but the bomb's performance with Cyclone Jasper in Cairns recently was just diabolical. And now it seems the wider community is cottoning on to how inaccurate they are. And just because I'm calling out the bomb and the inaccuracy of their forecast and the fact that I'm a farmer, the left come at me and call me a climate change denier. Well, what are we supposed to do? Do we just sit here and cop their rubbish forecasts spewed out by the bomb? I think not. Look, we need change. And it's ridiculous that with all the taxpayer money that goes into the bomb, that people like myself and, as I said, thousands of other farmers are having to pay for private weather forecasting services who are getting it right. The bomb. So let's put this to bed, that forecasting the weather is difficult. All the other models get the weather right except the bomb.
Do you remember, Tim? I think it was last year. The bomb, I'm going to call them the bomb, and they've certainly bombed in the last couple of months, put out a press release saying they no longer wanted to be called the bomb. They have to be called the Bureau from now on. Now, I always associate the Bureau with the FBI personally, but it would seem that they've been more interested in bureaucracy, more interested in buying into climate change than they have been with actually doing their jobs.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just ridiculous that they're more worried about what people call them than forecasting the weather correctly. And I tell you one thing, I'd love to see the KPIs on the CEO of the bomb. I bet you there is something in there about keeping the climate change disaster front and centre in the media and continually putting out dire weather forecasts to back up the current government's agenda on climate change and all the billions of dollars that get spent in it. Now, the problem is people like myself...
Well, who knows...
Sorry, Caleb.
So go on.
I was going to say
Sorry,
that
go
people
on.
like myself and other farmers, we rely on accurate weather. We make business decisions on planting crops, selling cattle, keeping cattle, what we do. And if we can't trust the bomb, where do we go?
Exactly. And these are the decisions, that help feed the nation. They affect your bottom line, but they affect ours as well. Tim Burvill, thank you so much for your time.